Satchmo?
Yes, Miriam?
Yes, all right. I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I am very well. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. All right,
Yeah,
so
thank you.
without much time on our side because of that technical difficulties, let's get straight into it. First of all, what causes negative thoughts and emotions?
Yeah, maybe to kick off the conversation, Miriam, I think what people need to understand is that we become what we think. What somebody says, that as a man thinketh, so is he. If you look at about 90% of doctors' visits, they are actually caused by thinking. People go to see a doctor because of problems with things that are happening in their lives. If thought can take somebody to a doctor, then again thought can take somebody away from a doctor. You just need to know how to think right so that you can stabilize your body. Because for every thought that you generate, there's a chemical process, there's a chemical reaction that happens in your system, which makes you feel what you feel and then do what you do in life. So normally, if you look at where negative thoughts come from, it's a survival thing. Because if you look at us as human beings, we tend to respond more to things that are threatening to us than anything that is rewarding. So that's why it is easy for us to sort of focus on negative things, because it's a survival mechanism, but we can learn to unlearn focusing on negative things.
So what types of illnesses are caused by negative thoughts and emotions?
I can tell you what, Miriam, it's a host of them. You know what happens to the body? When you are faced with anything that is negative, your body responds the same way it would respond if you were faced with a physical threat. Like, for example, you're just walking by the side of the road, a car comes off the road, and it comes your direction. What happens? You run like you've never run before.
Yes.
What happens is that your body goes into a state of emergency. That's why you find that when you are panicking, when something is threatening you physically, your heart rate, it goes up high, your breathing rate goes up high. So it's actually happening in response to you're actually going into an emergency. So your body goes into an emergency to be able to deal with that emergency. In fact, we call it a fight or flight response. So what happens is your breathing rate goes high. Why does it go high? It's because your body knows that we are in an emergency. So it's trying to provide a lot of oxygen to your muscles so that you can be able to either fight or run away. And also the same thing happens to your heart rate. It goes high as well. Why does it go high? Because it's trying to pump a lot of blood to your muscles so that you can be able to fight an emergency. Again, the other things that happen, there's a host of things that happen in your system when you are faced with an emergency like that. The other thing that happens to you is that your glucose levels, they go up. Why? Because they're a good source of energy. You are in an emergency. So your body is trying to prepare itself to be able to fight or to run away. And also the same thing happens to your fat levels. They go up in your bloodstream as well. Why? Because you've got an emergency to deal with. And the same thing also happens to even, have you noticed that when you're panicking, you tend to have a cold sweat? You tend to have a cold sweat. The reason why you have a cold sweat, because we are tropical creatures. When you're going into an emergency, your body is going to heat up. So what happens is your body is trying to cool you down so that you are able to respond optimally to that emergency. And also there's a host of things. Your digestion gets suspended because it's not time for digesting, because digestion takes energy. So it gets suspended for that time because your body is preparing to fight an emergency. And also, I can, the list is endless. Your immune system, again, it gets suspended for too long a time. And when that happens again, it's happening simply because your body is trying to save energy so that all the energy is channeled to you fighting that, whatever that is threatening you. It works very well when it comes to physical threat. But now the challenge that we have is our brains, they don't distinguish between physical threat and social threat. When you are faced with something that is negative, your body also goes into a threat response. It could be things like financial challenges, it could be marital problems, relationship issues. So the challenge now is what we tend to do as a people is when we are faced with, like for example, what I said earlier on, if it's a physical threat, a car comes your way, and then you manage to duck and dive, and then your body comes back to stability after some couple of minutes or hours. But now when you entertain something that is negative for too long, what that means is that your body, in terms of your breathing rate, is high for too long a time. Your sugar levels or your glucose levels and your fat levels in your system, they're high for too long a time. In other words, you're in a state of emergency for too long a time. And your digestion is suspended for too long a time. Your immune system is suspended for too long a time. And then what happens is, because you have been constantly subjected to this kind of, feeling or physiology for too long a time, what therefore happens is that you end up with these medical conditions like you end up with cardiovascular problems. You end up with infections easily because your immunity is challenged. You end up with gastrointestinal problems. You end up with a host of other things. You end up being diabetic as well because your body is in a state of emergency for too long a time. Look at it this way: there is no organism that can stay in a state of emergency for too long a time and survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's like now your body is constantly in this state of shock, or fight or flight. Your body is just always ready to either fight or flight, and it's because of your negative thoughts and emotions. Wow, and like you said, a lot of things that happen, we're doing this to ourselves. Now, can the mind create symptoms for one to know that they are sick with these ailments that you've just mentioned, caused by fight or flight?
Sorry, come again?
Can the mind create symptoms for one to know that they are sick?
Can the mind create symptoms? I can't hear you well, Miriam.
Yes. I asked, can the mind create symptoms for one to know if they are sick?
Yeah, the mind, the mind is very powerful. If people can recognize that the mind is so powerful, they will never be captive. They will never be taken captive by their thought processes. Because look here, I'll give an example. About 5 years ago, I've got a cousin of mine that thought that she was pregnant. She thought she was pregnant. And guess what happened? Because she thought she was pregnant, her body began to respond to what she thought. She started putting on maternity dress. And when she thought she was 7 months pregnant, she went for a check, only to find out that there was nothing.
Wow.
There was nothing. And guess what happened? When she realized that there was nothing, the tummy started disappearing as well. That's the power of thought. If I came to you right now, and let's assume that you are in serious pain, and I give you a sugar pill and say to you, what I'm giving you is the most powerful painkiller planet Earth has ever had, and I tell you, you take that pill, I can tell you within a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, you're feeling good. So what's making you feel good is not the pill, but it's your belief in the pill that is making you feel well. Your body responds to what your physiology, it responds to your thought processes. And that is what a lot of us don't realize. That we tend to respond, our bodies respond to what we think. That's why someone said that the coward dies so many times before his actual death. It's all about thoughts.
Wow. I'm just imagining that how many times we're going around with these thoughts in our heads, and we're actually making ourselves even more sick. Like something that can be simple like a flu or a cold. We're thinking, yay, I am dying here with this thing. Yeah. We could actually die with the flu because of those thoughts.
Yeah, if you believe you're going to die, you will die. I can tell you this now. That's how it is. That's how powerful our thoughts are.
Wow. Right now is rewiring the subconscious mind to positive thoughts possible?
The reason why we are so inclined to negative thoughts is mostly because of what's been fed in our subconscious mind. Everything that you do, most of it comes from the subconscious mind. And unfortunately, if you look at the bulk of the things that are stored in our subconscious mind, these things were stored in us, most of them unconsciously, because look, when you're growing up between the age of 0 to 7 years, you're actually in a state that we call a hypnotic state. Everything that's said to you, you take it in like gospel. That's why the Jesuits said that, give me a child until they are 7 and I'll show you a man. In that stage, you are being programmed. And then subsequent that, everything that you form in your subconscious mind, that gets programmed into you. It gets programmed into you by repetition, by experiences. So unfortunately, 70% of the things that are stored in us, they are negative. They don't support us. But thank God, we are the only creatures that can challenge our thought processes. You can actually unprogram and reprogram yourself by self-talking to yourself. There's a vast of other things that you can do to reprogram yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, self-talking. Okay. Self-talking is one of the key tools. In fact, the beauty about self-talking is that you don't need anybody to motivate you. You can actually motivate yourself by speaking to yourself. When you are faced with a situation, the same situation that's going to cause somebody to go to hospital or somebody to be dejected, you can say to yourself, what can I learn from this? What is good in the bad? And the moment you say to yourself what is good in the bad, this is the organizing principle of the brain. The moment you ask yourself a question, your brain begins to focus on the question that you ask. If I say, oh my God, I'm going to die, this thing is going to kill me, that's all my brain is going to focus on. But if I say to myself, this challenge that I'm faced with, what can I learn from it? Your brain will begin to look for answers to what you can learn from that. Unfortunately, a lot of us, like I said, we don't realize it. I like what Wangari Maathai, the 2004 Nobel Peace Prize winner, what she said. She said that you can't take captive a mind that knows itself and that values itself and that understands itself. Once you understand that everything that you feel, you're feeling it not because of external factors, but you're feeling it because it's coming from within you. Then you can be able to regulate yourself because you know that you're not a victim of external circumstances, but you're a victim of your own internal, perceptions, beliefs, and attitudes, and all things like that.
Wow, that's so profound. Anyways, time is not on our side, so we're going to leave that there for now. Thank you for your time and for the very interesting and informative chat.
Thank you, Miriam. You're welcome. Unfortunately, it was a short conversation. I think there could have been a lot that we should have shared in this discussion for the benefit of our viewers and listeners.
Yeah, no, I think we should have a part 2 of this soon before our viewers and our listeners just decide that, hey, that was it. No, we are coming back with a part 2. Thank you so much for your time and have a lovely day.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right, so that was Sachmo Muchiriri talking to me about negative thinking and how it makes us sick. We need to reprogram and rewire our subconscious mind to positive thoughts. And how we do that? By self-talking. Talk to yourself positively. Everything that you say, feed your subconscious mind positive thoughts. Even if it's stuff that you watch